Welcome back, fellow gamers. I hope things have been well with you. We're going to get started here, playing through 1939. Okay, we have assault weapons to level 1. Some of you may be interested. I did play a brief game because one of the viewers requested what would happen if Germany declared war on Luxembourg now that they had been protecting or gave them the guarantees to Poland, and that episode should also be up, though it won't be in this playlist. And basically France and Britain declared war on Germany. Okay, we just got too many, so we'll reduce that down. Put that to the bottom. Various events, as you can tell, have been moving towards improving our bridging capabilities, and that accounts for the partially completed research bar. There, no longer, and airborne, our HQs have been researched, so we will do that. And this will allow us to parachute in an HQ with our airborne invasions. Let's just see what's another one for now. Romania, no. If there's a small amount of oil, I probably would have gone for Romania. Hitting the buttons well at the moment for some reason, don't know why. Maybe just out of practice, who knows. The Bank for International Settlement. Yes. Let's look at national technologies here. See if there's some that should be getting more attention that aren't. That's one it should. Okay, what does Turkey want? Barely enough. Okay, we will do that. Yeah. Try to make friends where we can. Okay, Saudi Arabia sends a special envoy to meet with Hitler. Observed that the Prophet Muhammad acted the same way, had driven the Jews out of Arabia. So yeah, so the Nazis and the Saudis are the same in that they're driving the Jews out of their countries. That's a good sound basis for relationship, I gather. Oh yes, in Linz down here in former Austria, right there. Plans are by Dr. Posse that they want to build this big magnificent art museum and make Linz a big cultural center for Germany. All right. Ah, yes, former Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor under Hitler, Franz von Papen. Very interesting character. A classic survivor, shall we say, and a very strong Catholic. A German nationalist. I don't think he really was a Nazi at all. Well, at all, I don't know, but he was a survivor. And he very useful to Germany. Because we have yet to with TRE do cover the Anschluss with Austria in any detail, but he had a major role. He became, whether it was ambassador or special envoy or whatever it was, to Austria, and he was one of the major people in orchestrating that for Germany. So he was very useful to Hitler as a German nationalist, is how I would generally categorize him. Not that doesn't make him a good guy or whatever, but I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to give you my view of history with him. Yes, we can send him to Turkey. He will be a good ambassador there for German interest in there, because remember, Turkey and Germany had a very good relationship during the First World War and before. So yes, and that's a picture of the German embassy and a picture of good old Franz there. The Free Will and Schutzstaffel. This is the paramilitary group for the Slovak Germans, not the Slovaks, but the Slovaks of German descent, or however you want to do that. Yeah, since we've already supported the FDP or something. Forget exactly. So we will, the Free Will and SS. We support them, so we get that unit there. Unfortunately, I found out that if you leave it in the capital, units in the capital of a puppet become out of supply for some reason. I don't understand it. It's too late to try to fix it with Hoi 3 here, but it is a thing. So I'm going to move him out of the capital. Otherwise, he'll just sit there and be, lose all organization eventually. So, but it gives us another SS unit there. The SA Marine. They weren't Marines like as in the United States Marines or the British Marines. They were basically sailor auxiliaries, if you will. Training organization. They did a lot of port operations and that kind of stuff, but as a training and auxiliary for the Navy as well, and supplied that kind of thing. So yes, keep training. This will increase our training levels and a bunch of stuff. And yes, the Westfall Aachen SAR program. This is basically the final major push with the West Wall to get it ready to go for possible war with France. So really, until this date, until you do this, you really should watch going to war against France or anything that would cause it there. So once we get that, we get secured. So let's see here. get some small boat production up. They will help with practicals for the 2 destroyers that we now have we're putting in there, as well as be useful for our coastal warfare plan. Also have to adjust this here. Germany and You, a English language magazine that promoted up Germany, basically. You see the U.S. and the United Kingdom will get events that will help our relations with them as we feed them our propaganda. Assault guns, yay! Here. Because we went ahead and drove forward for this, so we got this fairly early here, which is what I wanted to do. We will study the medium velocity gun better, and I want to put a brigade of assault guns into production here. Where are they? They're expensive. Put it there. I know my playstyle increases the amount of micro and dealing with that, but I'm personally willing to put up with it. You can obviously complete the production of the ships or just cancel them if you want. Okay, Simpson and Company, Schul in Thuringia. Simpson and Company is a rather old German arms company. It was sort of the smallest of the big arms companies in Germany during World War I. And it was the only arms company by the Treaty of Versailles allowed to continue to make arms for the new Germany, for Weimar. So they had that. Just an interesting side note, all the government, or still in government possession, German Lugers from World War I were sent into Simpson and Company to be reconditioned, if you will. Whatever is needed, they're known as double dating because they have whatever their original production date on them and then the second date of when they were reconditioned. Well, the thing is the Simpson family is a Jewish family, so we can't have, or the Nazis couldn't have a Jewish family owning and operating them. Still a major. I mean, once the German rearmaments program happened, they continued to be a major company, but not as major one. So there was an intermediate company before Gustloff Werk was renamed, and you also collect as well other German arms, particularly obviously in America, small arms. You'll find a lot of Gustloff Mauser rifles and such. So they were a major company, and which I found when I went and looked for them on the map. They weren't there on this map. No ICs there. So one of the things that Third Reich Events does at a start is put in the Simpson and Co. or Gustloff Werk ICs, but this is just, we'll get some industrial production gain here. Okay, and it's sort of an informative event. Motorized HQs advance. We're going to increase the SS HQ researcher there. This helps reduce the time between attack and gives us more motorized HQs. These will be very useful in time. I'm just not using them now because they're all stacked up here, so this is the standard. I think one may be shown up here, but because there's a bunch of just coming very soon historically named hierarchy units from BlackICE, and I'm played through enough just to see that they're there and know, but I'm not very familiar with them, so I'm gonna wait until we get those submarines is what I'm looking for. Okay. Isn't it? Oh, it's air torpedoes. I launch torpedoes. Talking too much, not paying attention to what I should be doing here. And okay, we got American blueprints, cool, for heavy armor designed to 2, so that's good. So now we are all caught up there as well, even though we haven't been researching much with that yet. I like how in one of the, each game's different. Some games I have lots of tech successfully stolen, other games not. But it doesn't necessarily bring you to the next one up from whatever you're researching on for steals. It brings you up to whatever the level in the nation, which could be multiple levels up. Okay, since we have a pause here, let's see. Blitzkrieg advance, good. We're gonna go there, looking. Yeah, we're gonna let it rock on. Okay, this is Marine Hitlerjugend. The Naval Hitler Youth again. They're not like U.S. Marines. They're basically a Naval Auxiliary Training Program. I was here in the U.S. in the NJROTC, the Naval Junior ROTC, when I was in school. So obviously we didn't have any Nazi indoctrination, but it's presumably a somewhat similar sort of experience. You know, taking them out on ships, showing what it is, get the basics of naval etiquette and naval procedures down, and basic seamanship out there. So that's what they do. So this will help with our various crew training. Money for crude oil. Okay. It's a small amount. Okay, here we go. Now. We're also going to be escorting some of our naval warfare aircraft here. And a pair of submarines. One of the people asked, why don't I just go, get rid of auto assign here. One of the settings, I believe, is what they were referring to. Oh, shoot, hit the wrong thing. Sometimes the AI gets it right, and if I'm not paying enough attention, I at least want somebody in the place that's somewhat appropriate. Okay, we'll give them a no. We've already got some. Okay, gun position 4 engine. Advanced. No. Okay. Build the Istanbul to Tehran Railroad. This is a historic map which I altered just a little bit of what the railroads were at the time. What is in red does not currently exist at the time of this, and as you can see, that there is like a bus route or something. This came from an article with some of these pictures of period Turkish railway. Someone taking the train around there, and so that they had to take a bus into Iraq. At the time, that doesn't exist. We have the opportunity to build some railroads there, but it's going to be very expensive, as I figured it would be. That's through very mountainous territory in both Turkey and Iran. I also got to say the infrastructure level map for Turkey is god awful compared to history, especially if these railroads are any real the main infrastructure there in the country. So I corrected that at the start of TRE, so you TRE players have a much better or much more realistic infrastructure levels for Turkey. It's as expensive. It will help our relations with Turkey and Iran by doing this, and Bulgaria, because the trade will flow through Bulgaria into that region. But it's just a little too expensive for me to want to do it at this time. And you don't get another chance once the war starts. It just depends on how you're feeling and what you want to do on it. It did not happen historically, but the Philip Holzmann company are the people that built the Tehran, well, worked on the West Wall, worked on the Autobahn, built the Tehran railway station, and if you remember, the big hospital in Tehran. So since they're a major construction company, they would likely be involved, as well as the Reich Railways, which is their symbol there. So we're going to go no need at the moment. So sorry folks down in Turkey, you don't get your railroad. Romania, or German-Romania trade agreement. Notice they're using French UE artillery tractors there. From reading up, I gather they were locally assembled, but French basic production. So we have the choice of doing this. This will help our relationship. Yeah, we'll do this. National Socialist books for Iran. Germany provided a quote-unquote scientific library to Iran of over 7,000 books on various National Socialist subjects. So this will help our relationship with Iran. Iran, as you may understand, is what Persia renamed itself, and it means land of the Aryans, in which it was meant to make them more favorable to the Nazis and the prevailing ideological viewpoints at the time. Okay, why aren't we? Oh, here we are. Okay. I will be changing the commanders later on, but let's just put in some Luftwaffe guys that have quote-unquote commando skills. I would really like to see, and obviously it's sort of a little too late for Hearts of Iron 3, but to go through the records of these officers and those that had attended the Mountain Warfare School, give them level 1 Mountain Warfare. If they attended the Airborne School, give them, level 1s of all these different things, so as to better. So stuff. There we go. Those are. I know the uniforms well enough that I can just sort of tell what branch they were from that. Yes, the jerry can. This was a major invention by the Germans, something that no other nation had at the time. The British had what they called the flimsy, which was you see the can that's often associated with the Vickers machine gun, a smaller fuel can that was used for the water on the Vickers machine gun. And they were basically almost throwaway things. This thing is a marvel of engineering. It has 3 handles, so that the center one, if one person's carrying it conveniently, if 2 people are going to carry it, especially when it's full, one on each handle there. It has a built-in pour spout. It's with an air vent to keep it flowing smoothly. It's built really good. There was a German-American team that went for some sort of long-distance drive across parts of like Afghanistan and India and whatever else. And the German participants, so you just like 4 or 5 guys total between the Germans and Americans, provided some of these gas cans. Well, once it got out, and this is before the war, they had done so, the Germans got very worried and basically went in, and this is when they were off and where else, recalled the guys and got the gas cans back. All but one of them. One of them did. One of the gas cans, one of the Americans was able to bring in. He was an American officer. reservist or something, brought it back to America, but it was not put into, in the pre-war era, put into service at this time. So they didn't, although he tried to get that into the U.S., but the U.S. wasn't interested at the time of these things. Now, also what is really good with these things is, and it's why Germany gets a bonus here, is Germany did have dedicated fuel trucks, but the French also had dedicated fuel trucks and only used dedicated fuel trucks. So a dedicated fuel truck will have like 1 or 2 gas hoses, so it can fill up only 1 or 2 tanks at a time. Where the Germans, generally speaking, use standard trucks that filled them with these jerry cans. So they would pull up into a forward area, and then the tank crews would swarm. Remember, there's, especially for the larger tanks, 5 guys per tank. They would swarm the trucks and pull off the fuel cans all immediately and go and immediately refuel their tanks. And as soon as that truck was emptied of cans, they would immediately leave and head back up the line to another previous dump location and load in all the empty cans, and then head back up to exchange the empties for new loaded ones. And then it would go back down the line to wherever the new place is, unload, and then to the previous one, and so on. And so they kept reusing these cans, and this made a major rapid refueling effort for the motorized forces that wasn't seen anywhere else in the world at this time. So it was better, and I could tell you some horror stories of the French and not units just running out of fuel because of various things, because they did not have any sort of real. They had fuel trucks, and they had fuel trucks for their tanks, but they weren't always in the same location, literally. So it was messed up. So you have a supply throughput to the end of the war of plus 5% because of this event and this style of refueling their motorized forces. Submarine engines advance. Cool. So we're not going to go with that. Go over to the batteries. So I hope you people are enjoying some of these history lessons. I'm not getting too pedantic. Let me know if I am, because I don't have to give all the details if you're more interested in gameplay than historical commentary. We'll start here. And as August 1, Northern Germany, 3-day air maneuvers. Germany at this time, as you've seen in some other events, was doing a lot of various large-scale maneuvers and training up. And this was an event to really coordinate bombers, fighters, and that kind of stuff as they understood it. So this event increases our training a lot. And the Brown Ribbon. Brown Ribbon Derby here, also one of the Christian Weber events down in Munich, which he founded down there, the Brown Ribbon Derby. So it reduces our descent a little bit, having these popular events. Here we are. 8th Army, August 1, Johann Clausewitz commanded. Okay, so what I'm going to do, well, here we go. This is, and I love these Becker events. This whole series, one of the great things that BlackICE did, I just fell in love with. It traces through these various units that Becker had involvement in. Nice sort of story plot line here. And that division shows up in East Prussia. Okay, Clausewitz, and this is 4 Army Commando, Gunther von Kluge. Okay, let's see if we can quickly find those 2 generals. So he is getting to get a promotion. Of course, you don't have to go through and put the historical commanders in their place, but it's just, you know, fun, immersive. At least that's how I find it. Don't know if that's the best guy for that. Maybe he's not assigned to anybody. We'll go see. Oh, nope, already popped up. Okay, so this is a good thing in that we now have the 8th Army, and they put in the historical of commander as part of the event. That's always nice. The problem, and one of the reasons they don't automatically do that, is that if you do that, it pulls. No, I don't. Is that it pulls somebody out, and the AI won't auto-assign a new person. Now, you as the person here. Oh, we also had a tech come up. Was a single engine aircraft research. So we're running up there. Okay, so that's grayed out. Okay, good. Alright, okay. Sorry for the distraction there. Okay, small warship radar advance. That's useful. So we're going to stop that there, and then you need to come to the escorts. Oh, was this one? Oh, it's just as the actual small warship. What did I undo there? I stopped this. Didn't I? Yeah, that's what I stopped. Didn't mean to do that. Just moving a little too fast there. Okay, so here we go. The LZ-30, the Graf Zeppelin II, spy mission. Germany did know about Britain's radar systems to some degree. That's a picture of it here. But it didn't know a lot about them. I mean, trust me, they were very much in the dark, and they didn't know. So one of the spy missions for this is they sent the Zeppelin out to fly out here along the coast outside of British territorial areas and do signal intercepts for trying to pick up the radar signals and do analysis of them to just find out, you know, they knew vaguely that it was supposed to detect something and whatever else, but try to find out what and how it was working and that kind of thing. So we use that. Okay, National Coal Office. Reich Stellar for colon. Okay, we have three choices. This is an event that was set up by and sent in by George 1941. Okay, we have three choices here. We do minor improvements, which will get us a little energy and metal. Cost us extremely little, but we obviously have plenty of energy and plenty of metal. A bit more, this still focuses, it costs us more, it costs us manpower because we're really opening up a lot more metal. Now, we're just really overproducing this up here, so other settings. So we don't really need that, but that's historically what this did. Metal and things are getting corrected in 4, shall we say. Well, we can really spend a lot and focus more on industry, and this is for Bremer and Hamburg here. The imports, and so we can get new factories and increase our mining capabilities as well for metal and energy. This is a 30 manpower hit, so it's a significant thing. It takes out a division or more manpower, lots of metal, raw materials, and money. If we weren't, that's one of the reasons why we built up a lot of money. So we're going to go for this. I like ICs, as you well know, so we're going for that. Okay, we've now got a free slot here. For transport airplanes. Semi-motorized division. We want somewhere where we can punch in deep with it. I know, Rommel, you want a division, but I'm going to give you the 7th Armored Division when it becomes available. You could turn it into the Ghost Division. Training. We're going to let that rock and roll. And submarine hull advance. We don't need to push that too far ahead right now. Okay. We need to reorganize our production schedule, increase stuff, and a very large bomber is coming. So we'll stick that there. Okay, I think this is a good time to stop. We'll pick up the next episode with dealing with that production. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please keep watching and tell your friends. I might like to make this channel a real thing. Thanks.